Hello, my name is Tosh, and this video series is all about the gear I've selected to take with me on my Appalachian Trail thru-hike attempt. I'll be going over why I made some of the choices I made and some of the pros and cons of those choices. Before I jump into the video, I wanted to talk briefly about some of the realities of the gear selection process. This process does not look the same for everyone. We all have different priorities, different personal preferences, and different budgets. I am personally not in the business of judging or shaming other hikers for their gear choices, and I hope to never give the impression that I am supportive of that kind of commentary. It is okay for someone to make a choice that I wouldn't personally make or that I don't understand, because at the end of the day, we are all just trying to do something that we love to the best of our abilities. That said, let's dive into the video. For my shelter, I went with the Nemo Dragonfly OSMO, a 3-season, 2-person tent weighing in at 3 pounds, 2 ounces. I decided on the larger and heavier 2-person option because it was really important for me to have some extra space and to be able to fit my backpack inside the tent with me at night. According to the website, the minimum trail weight for this tent is 2 pounds, 10 ounces. So at least I know that I can still shave a few ounces if I absolutely needed to. The first decision I had to make when I was picking my shelter was whether I was going to go with a tent or a hammock. I did briefly consider going with a hammock for the sake of weight, but I very quickly realized that the lack of privacy was going to be a pretty big issue for me. It also felt like it could go pretty quickly from like cozy and comfortable to I am being swallowed in the middle of the night by a giant predator. I also considered a trekking pole tent since I was already bringing trekking poles, but similar to the hammock situation, there were a few potential pitfalls that I decided outweighed the benefits. One of my biggest concerns was that both of these shelter styles would end up limiting my campsite options. And for me, that was a huge deal breaker. Even though I've done tons of hiking and lots of outdoorsy kind of things over the years, I only have one official backpacking trip under my belt. So it was really important for me to pick a tent that was compatible with my experience level and wouldn't add unnecessary stress to my hike. So I decided, all things considered, a freestanding tent would be the best option for me. One of my favorite things about this tent is the double vestibule. From a practical perspective, it seemed like it would be a great solution for dealing with the mud and generally keeping things organized. And from a sentimental perspective, I would say that the double vestibules kind of have like a home away from home quality that I think would be really comforting on trail. Another thing that really sold me on this tent was how quickly and easily I was able to set it up with my experience level. I would say after a few practice runs, I was able to get the freestanding portion of the tent pitched in probably about 4 to 5 minutes, which is the poles, the tent body, and the rainfly. The clips on the body of the tent are color-coded to the poles and the rainfly, so it's very easy for me to stay oriented and I don't have to put a lot of thought into the process. The only big feature this tent didn't have that I was looking for was a rainfly first option. I personally wasn't able to find a tent that checked all of the boxes, so I knew that I was going to end up having to make at least one concession. I decided it would probably be impossible to keep the inside of the tent dry regardless between the humidity and the rain, so it didn't really seem like much of a deal breaker. You know, just like with every other choice I've had to make for this trip, I had to decide which features I could and couldn't live without. You know, even though having a rainfly first would be ideal, I felt like the quick setup time of this tent really helped compensate for that. Ultimately, I chose this tent for its easy pitch and freestanding option, its roomy double vestibules, and its relatively low weight. So far, I'm happy with the choices I've made, and I'm hoping that this tent is everything that I need it to be. But I'll definitely be doing an update video at some point when I have a little bit more trail experience with it. So that's it for today. I'll be going over the rest of my gear choices in future videos, so if you want to follow along, you know what to do, and I will see you in the next one.